Fear is the enemy.
Baggy City Music Box.
Whatever it is that you're going for, man, go hard. And hold on, never give up. You gotta have that mentality, man. I put in the work, I spent a lot of time on the waiting list. Never complained, I ain't never said shit. Shoot my shot, no fear if I miss. Imagine you chasing a dream that you love, only to find out it wasn't enough. You fall on your face, but you get right back up. And you fall back again, but you get right back up, yeah. That's the way that it's always been. Don't nobody care about the grind but you. Nobody putting in the time but you. Make up your mind, who you wanna be. I know who I am, I know what I want. Live by 2 words, Mamba Mentality.
Mamba Mentality.
And that's word to my mom, word to my pops, word to my little bro. They said make your mistakes, but don't make excuses on why you can't live and learn. On a couple occasions I damn near went broke, I'm chasing this music thing. And I ran out of hope, I threw in the towel, said fuck the hole in the street. I kept on writing and touring. I picked up a job cause I knew it was important. The money I made, I would stash it away just to fund my recordings. And I didn't wanna stop cause I didn't know how. I would lay in my room by myself late at night and I finally figured it out. I just wanna be the best version of me, make all the music that I wanna make. I don't care what nobody gon' say. You miss all of the shots you don't take. And the answer is no, if you don't ask. If it gets hard, this too shall pass. God is my witness and he got the plan. He got the plan. I put in the work, I spent a lot of time on the waiting list. Never complained, I ain't never said shit. Shoot my shot, no fear if I miss. Imagine you chasing a dream that you love, only to find out it wasn't enough. You fall on your face, but you get right back up. And you fall back again, but you get right back up, yeah. That's the way that it's always been. Don't nobody care about the grind but you. Nobody putting in the time but you. Make up your mind, who you wanna be. I know who I am, I know what I want. Live by 2 words, Mamba Mentality.
Mamba Mentality.
Yeah. Remember, man, you only in competition with yourself. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process. Pleasure and pain. R.I.P. the greatest. 0824.
Mamba Mentality. Mamba Mentality.
All right, check 1 2, check 1 2. What's going down, everybody? Welcome to another version of Circle Talk. I'm really happy to be here today. I have a special guest. This guy I've been riding with for a very long time. And we're going to get into that whole backstory a little bit as we get into the conversation. But before we do, I just want to make sure that you guys share this out. Let your friends know. Make sure you guys are letting everybody know we are about to have a conversation with Mr. Rocky Sandoval, the man, the myth, the legend, the one behind Mamba Mentality, the song that I've been using all year long. Yes, this man decided that he would let me use his song and didn't charge me a dime. I was like, thanks, bro. Yeah, cool. So I'm about to have a conversation with this guy and talk about what's been going on in 2023, what we can look forward to going into the 24 season. And just, how life has been, trying to maintain a professionalism as a artist and also at being a professional in the schools and taking care of his family and everything else that comes along in the Rocky Sandoval world. So we're going to get into it. So thank you to everybody that's watching so far. I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsors, iShotTo.com. If you guys need somebody to do your pictures, the pictures behind me, both these ones are me and my kids. Mr. Marvin Patterson took those pictures. Yes, if you guys need anybody to get your picture done and get them done right, hit up Marvin Patterson. Let him know I sent you. He will get you done at a great price. Icon ENT. My guy Junior Thomas, he is in charge of the party bus extravaganza. If anybody's looking to go to any games, the Seahawks versus the Eagles game, and you don't want to drive and you want somebody to get you there and get you there in style, make sure you guys hit up Junior Thomas. He's in charge of the party bus extravaganza, and he will get you there in style. You guys can have a good time. Inside of the bus, he's got TV screens, he's got the liquor box, he's got all that stuff. Hit him up, let him know I sent you, and get you a great deal. Next, the Chai Movement and Chai Fashion. Thank you so much, Sakia, for all your unreal support to me and everyone else in the community. This young sister has been working extremely hard, turning people's clothes that they are donating into clothes for others that are really struggling and in need of clothing. She's in charge of that. If you guys want to know more about where she's at and what she's doing, if you guys would like to donate, go to chiafashion.com or the chiamovement.com to get more information about where she's at and what she's doing next. Last but not least, Intentions Juice and Smoothies Bar, Makita Evans. If you guys missed the 1-year anniversary of Poetry with Intentions last night, you guys missed a smashing event. I promise you guys, next week we're doing it again, the 20th, and I will be there interviewing the creators of the Poetry Intentions circuit. So make sure you guys tune in for that one. And thank you to all my sponsors for all your amazing support and everything that I do here at the Circle Talk. Without further ado, let's bring in the guy of the hour, Mr. Rocky Sandoval. Let's go. Yo, 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 yo. You here? Can you hear me, bro?
Yo, what's going on, man? Appreciate it.
You know what it is, man. I am so excited to have this conversation with you, man. I say that all the time when I talk with people, and there's no exception when it comes to you. Like, it's a whole nother level of excitement because of how far we have come and how many obstacles we had to climb to get to where we're at. And them obstacles mostly were mine, but I'm just saying.
Bro. It was funny because as we were prepping to get into the interview, I had no idea that there was a whole video leading up, and I was looking at it, and then, first of all, that's incredibly humbling just to kind of to be on here. Anytime that I get a chance to share my story, I take full advantage of it. I take it very serious because I think that when you share your story, you try to be as authentic as possible, and there are times where you question yourself. What are you actually doing this kind of stuff for? But man, I was reflecting on some of those memories and the pictures that you were choosing, and I was just like, man, I'm blessed. I'm a blessed guy, and I just don't take any of that stuff for granted, man. So that was very surprising. And shout out to all the viewers who are here. This is my guy D, man. I've known him for years, and anytime that I can come on and anytime I'm allowed or anytime I'm invited, that I make it a point and I make it a priority to come on here and always chop it up with you, bro.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, man. Always love when it comes to us. Just for the new viewers and even the old viewers that may know a little bit of the backstory between me and Rocky. Me and Rocky met the first time we actually met at the Genuine concert.
Mm-hmm.
We was prepping, we was going through our sets, and I walk in and Rocky's doing his set, and I was like, who is this guy? Who is this cat? You know what I'm saying? And I stopped for a minute and I just listened to him, and I was very impressed. But back then I was a person that was very cocky and not necessarily confident. I was overconfident in my abilities, and so instead of giving him his flowers, I said, what's up? We always say what's up, but at the same time, I gave a snide look, and I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I was kind of a little impressed, but at the same time I wanted to impress him. So when I went
I had no, it wasn't even like that. We do R&B, so it's different, right? Maybe hip hop and rappers, it's very competitive. With R&B, it's not. I actually, to be honest, I was in awe of you.
Oh man.
And it's because, you sing with runs and you got soul, and I've always been intimidated by other singers for whatever reason. Um, and so to hear that, you had the same
Yep.
respects about me is that's crazy. But I never looked at it in any negative fashion. I would just
Right.
always been one of those people that just put their head down, go do the work, let the chips may
Yeah.
fall. and
Yeah.
and I'm just so glad that we reconnected over the years and developed the friendship that we do have, because
Absolutely.
it all came from that show and at the
Yeah.
vault.
Yeah, and
Con-
and just
Continue
just
on.
to get everybody an update on the first show that we've done, and what we are going to do is just have a quick moment after I kind of give an explanation of the show. But the first show that I did, I had a co-host, and his name was Chuck Marlowe, and Chuck didn't know much about Rocky, but we had a great conversation, and did some pictures, and the interview went so. Remember, the interview was kind of blotchy. We had some problems with we had some technical difficulties, so we had to go back and redo it again.
Mhm.
But our good friend Chuck Marlowe ended up passing away a few months later with complications. He was fighting a long fight with cancer, and it finally took its toll on my brother. So what we want to do really, really quick is just have a quick moment of silence for Chuck, and then we'll get back to it. Thank you guys so much.
Man,
So,
R.I.P. Chuck, man. Like that was he was such a. I'm a very good like I can read people's energy.
mhm,
And the moment that I went in there and met him, he had no idea what I was about. And then
yeah,
after that, after we were done with the interview and we went outside and we started talking, and then we were talking about all of the R&B stuff and the records, and then we exchanged numbers, and it's just um, it's that's what it's about, man. It's about building relationships. And yeah, it was. I remember the news when that happened, and
yeah.
yeah, R.I.P. man, R.I.P. man.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, but let's get into just you, man. Like since the last show, how's everything been going in life, in music, and I know it's been a year for you. Because I always keep up with posts. You see me, I always say what's up. I always say I'm praying for you. I'm thinking about you. How's the year been? How's 2023 been for Rocky Sandoval?
Probably my most difficult personally.
Mhm.
Um, One of my most difficult personally. There was just a lot of personal issues that were kind of distracting me from like what I had set out to do in 2023. Not that I, was stagnant or anything, but it was just a lot of battling of interpersonal relationships
Mhm.
that I was dealing with. But it was very productive as far as like financially,
Oh,
like
that's
that. It's weird. It's like I was getting booked left and right in the summer.
mhm,
We did two sold out, not sold out shows, excuse me. They were pretty close though. I mean, we did two headlining shows that I produced.
mhm.
Um, and I co-produced with the most recent one at McMinimans with my good buddies, Two Story Zori. Shout out Gerald and the gang at Two Story Zori. We did McMinimans, and then Alma. Alma was incredible because shoot, we moved almost 400 something tickets.
Yeah,
Uh, so those were super successful, and of course, just staying relevant and staying busy. But that entire time, I was dealing with a lot of different other things, man. And
yeah,
I realized that everybody has shit going on. Like what, like what makes me any different? And I think that when I was able to just kind of step back and look into that, I was like, okay, it's one, take a deep breath. It's gonna be all right. And I really leaned on a couple of people that um, some really good friends and some family members that were able to kind of carry me through some tough times, man.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, mental health is a real thing. I went and saw a doctor for the first time. Like I didn't have any checkup or anything in like the last 10, 15 years. And so making sure like I'm not going to be able to do what I do best for my supporters and for my audience if I'm not healthy. And so I literally took some time to just kind of make sure that my health was, and now I stress the importance of just having a good diet, having a good regimen, being in a good mental space. And towards the end of this year's, it's kind of worked out. I would say, I'm very optimistic, and I bounce back, man. I'm like Wolverine, dude. Like
Yeah.
I really bounce back. So in terms of like 2023, I'm glad that we're closing out, trying to close out strong, and I'm just excited for the first few quarters of next year, because I get the chance to really show some of the stuff that I've been working on privately behind closed doors.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we don't have to get too deep into what you've been working on behind closed doors. We'll save that for a little bit later. But let's talk about some of the amazing things that has transpired on your journey. When you think about that time when we was working at the Genuine show together, we did that one too. Where you're at today, like how many amazing things can you think of, or people that you have got to meet that has kind of helped you kind of help mold who you are as an artist? Like just throw some names out there of people that have that you have met along the way that has kind of molded you into the person that you are today.
Man, if that would be the case, D, we'd be on here all night. Like I have so, and then I'm thinking about those Genuine days.
Yeah.
One of the things that I kind of peep is I see a lot of aspiring artists that they'll try to document their journey. And I remember when I was younger, I wanted so badly for everybody to like me and for everyone to see me.
Yeah.
So I would say everything that I was feeling, all of
Mhm.
my moves, all of my successes, even my downfalls. And as I got older and more mature, you start realizing that that's not, you don't have to do that. Like
Mm.
it's, you not just tone it down, but you really put it into perspective that there's a million people like me that are trying to do the same thing.
Right.
So, you
True,
know,
true, true. That
it was
is
one of
true.
those things. I remember when we did that show, looking back to now, so many people that would come to that show worked. And, I ended up doing what, 4 or 5 songs with 4 or 5 shows with Genuine. I went, I was the opening act for the Ladies Not Out tour. Shout out to Ocean Records and DJ Funk Daddy and all those guys that brought me on.
Yeah.
But I remember, talking to Genuine's manager, Terrence, at the show. And I'll never forget, I think I told this the last time. He was like, I was done performing at the Vault, and he introduced me. Like I was introduced to Genuine. I met him, and I'll never forget. Genuine's like, "I'm gonna give you a call, bro. I'm gonna call you tomorrow."
Yeah.
I think I waited by my phone for like 2 days, and I didn't get one call. But then it's fun. I see him years later, and we're in the back dressing room, and I bring up that story. He don't remember, obviously, but just certain things like that, and where they're just pivotal moments that kind of make you just reflect on the journey. And I think now it's such a long time ago. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
span of damn near almost 12, 15 years, something like 10 years, something like that.
15 years. Yeah.
Um, I really, there's too many to name. I wouldn't even just do a disjustice, because if I start naming off names, I know I'm gonna get a call from somebody. And I'm like, man, I'm not even, I just know that there's been so many people that have affected me, not just, fellow musicians and mentors, but I'm talking like individual strangers. Um, I don't know how many times there have been times I felt like giving up, and it would be one person that was like, "Hey, I just came across your music and it just spoke to me." It's like those kinds of things are like, man, they really, there's always something that keeps you going.
Mm.
And I really have learned to just kind of put everything in God's hands, man. I'm a vessel. Everything, all of this stuff is His plan. I'm just I'm just rolling with it, and I'm just hoping that He ain't forgot about me, and I think that's been a major part of what's happened. I mean, that stemmed from all of the touring and just picking things up, and I mean, this goes from I've always learned to, you never know who you're meeting, so you might as well put your best foot forward. And if you show people respect from all the way to the janitor to the CEO, you're gonna
Mhm.
be all right. And I learned that from my parents.
Yeah.
They're great mentors for me, and I'm a reflection of them. So I can't go off out there embarrassing myself to, then that would show on them. And that's one thing that I don't want to do. My family name is so important to me. The name out here in our community is so important to me. The work that we do, like
Yeah.
those are what I want as far as that's a success to me. Because all the other stuff, all that shit really don't matter, man. It's just
Yeah.
making sure that your character speaks for itself. And so um, I was kind of rambling off, but I mean, there's so
No,
many,
good,
like
man.
so many people.
Good.
Um, whew,
I
um,
mean, you said a lot. There's and with everything that you said, the most important thing is that there's so many people that you would have to give thanks to. I
yeah,
mean,
it
and
would
to
be,
me, that just shows the type of person you are, that you didn't do this alone. This
no,
was something that you taken pieces from every single person that you dealt with, whether it was a security guard, whether it was a sound man, whether it was a background singer, whether it was, a bass player. You've learned something from each and every of these one of these people that have come into your life
yeah,
along the way. And that's a beautiful thing in itself. I mean, that takes a lot of growth, a lot of, maturity. And, like, bro, like, you're getting older,
yeah, bro.
No, I
Yeah,
mean,
man,
because
yeah.
even when I think about when you first came out, bro, you was in this button up shirt, and I was like, man, he ain't good. I'm like, this dude ain't going nowhere fast. But that's but to me, I think that's the biggest thing that that made you such a special person at that time, is that you were very just doing what you love to do,
you know,
compared to someone like myself that was just like, I did what I love to do, but I was like, I want the ladies, I want the money, I want all the fame. I'm better than everybody else on this bill, and I'm gonna shine. I don't care what they say. And that
and your
mentality,
talent was, I mean, and this is the thing. Yeah, I know
but that
exactly what you mean
mentality
because
killed me
that
though.
mentality,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
it like the ego, your ego can really get the most of you. And I think I felt the
Yes.
same way when I was, when I was younger, when I first met you, when we think we know everything and we really
Right.
don't. I've had to circle back around. I will give one shout out. There's a guy by the name of Lyle Del Mundo. He's executive director of FACE. It's a Filipino organization, Filipino artists, creatives. Anyway, he's just connected me with some incredible opportunities. I got a chance to sing for the Joe Coy concert, or the Joe Coy tour when he was putting his movie out. He was putting me on the Wish bus. He walked me into the stereotypes. Obviously, we know what the stereotypes did for Bruno Mars
Mhm.
and all of those Grammys they were to be able to sweep. But I was in that circle. I actually had met Lyle 10 years prior, and I guess I was a complete asshole. I was just this young, cocky kid. Uh,
Really?
yeah. And um, we circled back around, and it was like, long story short, a business associate that I was working with at the time was like, "Hey, man, Lyle wants to meet you
Yeah.
again." And I'm like, I had a fever that day. I think I was
Mhm.
throwing up. I literally, took a Tylenol, Dayquil, and I jetted right to that meeting, and
Mhm.
got a chance to really show and explain because I don't remember, and that's probably why I stopped. I really stopped drinking heavy during like business meetings because you just never know.
Yeah.
But luckily, he was able to really see the kind of character I am, and I think that this is another thing. And I've really took at it on as a responsibility to give information to younger artists, younger
Absolutely.
creatives. I think that's our response, and this is why I love what you do because you're a voice for the community. You bring on the right people. You give them a chance to tell their story. But I think that um, I never and this is my ego speaking. I was like, nobody helps me, nobody cares, nobody, no, bro. Like, there's been so many people that have helped me. I am
Mhm.
not where I am today if it wasn't for the people that were like, man, I fuck with him. Let me move him to the next level.
Yeah, for
Let
sure.
me let
For
me
sure.
move. Let me open this door for him. Going back around to a lot of my colleagues in Tacoma who I thought didn't really mess with me like that.
Mhm.
Now I'm so grateful that I'm looked at like my opinion matters, my my words matter to people that I didn't really know 10 years ago. They're back around, like we all work as a community.
Yeah.
Um, and it's sometimes, you have to be able to forgive yourself, one, for making mistakes, and be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, man, you know what, it's cool, I can take accountability for that. Because when you're able to do that, they will really see the the, the growth. And
Absolutely.
because of the growth, I think that's where I've been able to sustain this long. I have some very talented friends of mine that I came up with in music that are no longer doing music. They've moved on to other ventures, but I, for some reason, have been able to just stay here in this space because I've been able to stay level headed with the people that I meet and the relationships that I build. This music game it's all about building relationships and
Mm.
understanding when those relationships are going to work for you, um, and know that it's never personal. I used to think everything was so personal. Why don't
Yeah.
they like me, man? How come? What is it? You know, you said something earlier. You was like, you had suits on. I thought that was what people wanted to see if you sang R&B.
Yeah.
And I used to get clowned on. I remember some of my friends at the time. They're like, "Bro, you wearing these tight ass suits, man." But that's what I thought. I had been driven by what I saw. That's
Yeah.
what I wanted to be instead of actually being who I am. And I think one of the things that really helped me out was growing my hair. I never thought that I was a long haired kind of person, but I
Mm.
feel free like that. I feel, like an artist for the first time. I feel
Yeah.
comfortable in my own skin. And I probably gonna, maintain it and cut it here and there, but I just didn't. When I remember when COVID happened, one of the things that really worked for me with COVID was that we were able to really separate who was serious about their craft. And when, we had no choice but to be at home, that I was penning songs like crazy.
Yeah.
Um, and then now going into a new element, I'm not really penning a lot of my stuff now. I'm working with professional writers, people who really do it for a living, because collaboration. I was never a real big collaborator until the past few years, because I wanted to grow. I had to work with the youth. I had to work with younger artists,
Yeah.
that had a real big heavy hip hop into R&B, because that was what was happening. Like, the rappers wanted to sing, the singers wanted to rap. Like, it was one of those things where just adapting to the times and really understanding that it was bigger than what I thought I wanted for myself. Really, that's what it came down to. But I mean, like I said, man, I could talk for days, for hours with you just about this music shit. But I
Yeah.
mean, for me, it's more so enjoying the journey and enjoying the process instead of getting to the end result, and trying to find joy in that. Because there have been times where I was like, man, I'm stressing myself out. Like, the one thing about me, man, is you'll never know if I have $10 in my wallet, $100, or $10,000. It's just always been even keel.
Yeah.
Um, that's just one thing that I learned from my parents. So of course, you have your gripes and you have your close friends that you can really be vulnerable. But
Right.
learning how to be vulnerable was another thing for me, and I'm still battling that. And I think you're going to hear a lot of that now.
Mhm.
Well, I think people have started to see that in the music that's recent. If for example, Mamba Mentality, I get emotional when I hear that song because that meant so much to me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I remember when I performed it on the Wish Bus, and I just was overcome with emotion, and I was
Mhm.
crying, and I asked them to not. That's what's playing on YouTube. Like, that's when you go to watch that video,
Yep.
and I'm like, nah, you know what? That's me. Like, that's that at that moment, that's me. And so I want that to show more than than what I thought I wanted to be. Like, and
You
that's
know, I don't mean to interrupt you, but speaking on that song, I mean that song is always going to be one of my tops. Obviously I have a couple faves, but that song has been like on replay a lot, not just
man, it's
on the
love, bro.
podcast, but on in my car, on my phone. That's one of my favorite songs that you've done. And I was going to ask you about it, but you seem to have answered my question before I could get it out. At the time when you wrote this, when you created the song, at the time, were you actually going through everything that you had spoke about in that particular song at that time when you created it, or was it something that you wanted to dedicate obviously to the late great, Kobe.
Well, there's so many. I could literally speak for hours about this, the way this record came
Yeah,
about,
yeah,
because that was really, I felt in that moment like that. I mean, there's a common theme when it comes to that record. It's family, obviously. I'm always
mhm,
shouting out family. I'm always shouting out that I'm not afraid of the work. That was one of my calling cards, because then, like I said, I wasn't like the best singer. I was never, they would never put me on the list of top 5 singers ever. I've never been part of those lists. I seem to get left off of those. And it was like a chip on my shoulder, but it wasn't like, why am I that? I just got to just be you, Rock. Um,
right.
and then of course, Kobe Bryant. I'm lucky. I grew up on Michael Jordan. When I was a kid, it was Michael, it
Yeah,
was MJ, and then it just transitioned over to Kobe Bryant. And what happened is, when I moved to LA, I really got a chance to see like the Black Mamba when he was that assassin killer.
yeah,
Whew. And then that even brought me closer to my brother, because my brother wasn't a huge Laker fan until I moved to LA, and then we went to a Laker game. That's like a bond between me and my brother. And
nice.
you know, um, my brother means a lot to me.
Mhm.
Uh, we bond on Kobe. Um, and the crazy thing is he passed on Grammy night.
Mm,
So I was at the Grammys that night. I was there with one of my cousins,
yeah,
and it was just really weird, because when that happened, I already knew that this a record would like this would come out, because of everything that I was going through, to get to that point. My blurred vision of success. I still to this day don't even know what success means. And then when
mhm,
I get invited to do these kinds of things, when I see videos, when I see people that react to my music, it's just overwhelming, man. Like I literally, like I get emotional about it, because it's like, no, Rock, you're doing the right thing.
yeah,
That's probably the reason why I haven't really given up on the teaching thing. Like I love teaching.
mhm,
And I wouldn't be able to do the music thing if I wasn't a teacher. And I'm flat out telling that. It would have to take an insurmountable amount of things to go right for me, or paycheck got to be right for me to give that up, because I feel so connected to the students that I work with, because they're able to literally, watching them achieve their goals. That's like big to me. Um, but yeah, man, going back to that Mamba Mentality song, like when he passed, we were I remember walking, we were on the red carpet, and it was like everybody was zombies out there, man.
yeah,
Uh,
mhm,
and he's obviously, I'm a big, huge Kobe fan, and his mentality and his work ethic, and I wanted to embody that in the way that I approach music, not just music, in life. You get knocked down. In 2004, man, he was the most hated man in basketball, because of the rape allegations. He had all this stuff going on, but he
yeah,
was able to bounce back. He's still never going to be not be liked by everybody, but now that he's passed, it's like he's at this iconic legend stature. Um, and and everybody asks me about that record when it comes, because I get people that'll be like, man, this is my gym workout. Like,
yeah,
that's so humbling, because that's exactly what the record was supposed to do. It was supposed to like get you to get on your ass and just do what you got to do. Because I remember when we cut that record and we cut it at Undercast, the engineer, my boy Randy, he stopped. He's like, man, this is different. And it wasn't like there wasn't anything fancy about it. It was just me being completely direct. So every time I perform this record, there's a lot of personal attachment to it. And, you know, it just means a lot to me.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Amazing record, man. And yeah, you are an amazing artist. Don't ever
Thank
forget
you, man.
that,
Thank
bro.
you.
Like, I mean, I love all your music. You know that. I'll be bumping it. But
Great. Bro.
let's
Yeah.
talk about the Filipino community.
Yeah.
How important have they been to your success and you staying relevant in the music?
I will tell you this. It has been, it's a lot of push pull, and I'm just being completely transparent. I feel like I have to be. It would be, it. it would be wrong of me to, to kind of sugarcoat it, because for the longest time, I don't think that I was accepted fully by the Filipino community.
Mm,
Maybe it's because I didn't speak Tagalog. I'm Ilocano, by the way, which is the reason why Baguio City Music Box is my company. I was born in Baguio, and they spoke Ilocano.
okay.
Um, and so, but it was like, uh, when I was younger, I was, I, so I never, it wasn't like I connected with the Filipino community when I lived in Louisiana. All my best friends, they were like the black kids that sang at the church. When
Yeah.
I moved to Washington, I was hanging out with, like, it wasn't like my own people. And
Yeah.
it wasn't until I got older that I started to, like, seek out these avenues. And the one thing that I could tell about Filipinos is that, one, we're very passionate, and we're intended to serve. Like, we're very proud. We're very proud culture. And so I just felt like, I back home in the Philippines versus here, the listener is different.
Mm,
And now, with my ties with Warner Music Philippines, I'm learning these things, and it's really kind of helped kind of build a new demographic for me. But
mm,
in Washington, per se, there's a lot of division in the Filipino community. Everybody want to be the top one. There's no, like, nobody's like there like that.
yeah.
So I've made it a point to really work with people that are all about doing that shit. Like, and that's my goal. And sometimes I'm looked at as somebody that doesn't choose sides, but it's not that at all. Like, and there's some incredible Filipino artists from this area that don't involve themselves with that, because there's just so much divide in it. It wasn't until, you know, there's been so much changeover, with leadership, old-fashioned ways of thinking. But now I think that there's a group in Seattle, that in Washington, that is really, they're getting a hold of it, and I'm so proud to partner with a lot of these companies, work with them. Um, but I mean, I can't. It's like, you cut my blood, it's Filipino, man. Like,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no, I am who I am, right? And so, um, a lot of the Filipino acts that I know that are doing well, they don't, you know, I do R&B, and I'm guest when it comes to R&B, because R&B is black music. You
Mm,
must pay homage, because that's what it is. And I think when I learned that, um, it opened up a ton of doors for me. And because I remember my buddies who were managing me when I was younger at the time, they were like, man, if you were, because you're Asian and you do R&B, you have a little bit of a leg up,
mm,
and you got to be able to use that to your advantage. And Philippine, we love karaoke, man.
yeah.
My mom had a karaoke machine. All the Filipino parties,
Yeah.
I was forced to sing. Um, and I was a closet singer for a really long time, man. And it wasn't until, um, I'm trying to give you the shortened version. I I played tenor saxophone in fourth grade. That's how I really really got my love for music. And then, of
Yeah.
course, my dad always put me on, like, old soul music and stuff like that. But I wanted to be a saxophone player.
Mm,
But I was told by my high school counselor, that there's no money in the arts. Like, so I was like, oh, okay. And then when I didn't get into the school of my choice, it derailed everything. And then I did the inaugural season of Idol. And then the first time that I got in front of a camera and I got in front of a studio, I was like, nah, this is what I want to do. I want to sing. And
mm,
so, I just started to work on my craft. But um, I think now it's different. There's no longer, like a way you're supposed to look.
yeah.
Filipinos are getting signed by major labels. Um, they're in the forefront. Everybody, especially in my circle, they're like, "Oh, Bruno Mars, right?"
Yeah.
But Bruno's half. I'm like full. So, um, and they're, the Bay Area. The shout out Bay Area. I mean, they got some Filipino superstars coming out of the Bay Area, because there's
Yeah.
such a big Filipino community out there. Um, LA,
Mhm.
there's 120 million Filipinos, I think. Yeah, that's a lot. Like, you get 10%, you get 1% of that, you got an audience. 1%.
Right.
And so, I've also been very aware of, like, what's going on back at home, and paying homage to, like, the music that's going back home. My partnership with Warner Music Philippines opened my up to opened my eyes up to a lot of the talent that's down there, and a lot of it is it sounds like what we're listening to up here. They just got their own community out there, and so it's kind of been hard because I'm stuck in a place in where do I gotta go home? Do I stay here? But really, I just did my best to stop thinking about those things and just do and just let it come, and just be grateful for whatever opportunity comes my way. And it's worked out pretty well for me.
Absolutely, for sure. So I was going through some pictures today, trying to create this video for you, and there was just so many that I probably clicked on probably 40 different pictures, bro, to add to your video, and
Yeah,
I just couldn't fit them all in.
and those were
But
the ones you chose were great, bro. Like you brought some great memories.
but I found this picture, and I just want you to say a little bit about it. It was
Okay.
a picture of, I think it was probably you and your dad, and you was probably like, both you guys were in white, and you was probably, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years old or something like that. I think it was you.
Yeah.
I mean, can you see it? Can you see the pic?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Talk about that pic real quick.
Um,
I wanted to add it, but I figure we'll just let me talk about it.
um,
Let's talk about it.
man, I'm again, man. I don't want to get all emotional on camera. There's only two men in this world that could make me cry, and that's my brother and that's my dad. Um, 2023 has been a tough year, bro.
Yeah.
But my dad is my hero. He'll always be my hero. He's probably listening because I told him that I was going to be on here. I probably don't tell him enough how appreciative I am of him and all of his sacrifice. Um, he's a man's man because he he can fuck up and then he can be a man about it. And I learned that from him. Um, I get a lot of my personality from him.
Mhm.
Roll with the punches, never show any weakness, and put your family first. You got to put your family above everybody. Um, but in that particular picture, like he always tells me he had more style than me when he was younger. If you look at that picture very closely, I tend to think that I have a good pulse on fashion, but my
Yeah.
dad to this day, he thinks he can outdress me. But I think the smartest thing that my dad ever did, though, is marry my mother. That's the best thing that he's ever done in his entire life. Um, when we were younger, I didn't see my dad a lot
Mhm.
because he was in the military.
Yeah.
Uh, but he had chose the right wife that kind of steered me and my brother into it. But I think over the years, especially like the last decade, me and my dad have gotten tighter. I've seen him at his very lowest point. Um, I've seen him at his highest point. And I take those experiences and I look at it for myself. And I think the one thing is just, he always tells me, man, like his legacy is intact because I'm going to carry that shit
Yeah.
until my end of my days. But yeah, he's quite a character. He loves the spotlight. Sometimes he can be a bit braggadocious. He can be over the top. He can be intense.
Mhm.
But he's a good man.
Absolutely.
He's a good man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I have two more pictures I'm gonna show you.
Yeah.
Uh, they
Bring 'em
didn't
on.
make the list, but they were definitely ones that I was thinking of putting on. But here's the second one. I think it's you and a little guy. Talk about that picture right there.
um, the single biggest turning point in my musical journey has been meeting Nadine because she had a kid, and I learned how to be responsible for other people. And taking on those kinds of commitments is a lot, but it's worth it because that's like my homie, man. Like he goes with me everywhere. Been raising him since I met him when he was 3. Been raising him since he was 4. You know, he's just turned 9. That's my kid. Like, you know, he's the funniest kid ever. It's weird because he reminds me of me, and I know we're not blood related, but his mannerisms, his artistic ability, he's a very artistic kid. Um, again, he's taught me a lot more about myself than me actually teaching him.
Yeah,
And you know, I hope that we can expand and become a bigger family. That's the goal. Yeah.
absolutely.
So,
Well,
yeah,
I
man.
got this last one. You might have spoke a little bit about this individual, but I'm gonna go ahead and show it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, boy, I mean, these are heavy hitter photos, man. You did your homework.
I know
Um,
you a little bit.
I'm nothing without my mom. I'm a mama's boy. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I will say it to the end of the earth. Um, and that's one of the things that I work out with. Why Nadine's so important. She has my mother qualities. They're very similar, but my mom is the single hardest working individual that I've ever. She has saved me countless numbers of times. Um, when I was broke, she helped me get a job. When I was broken spiritually, mentally from the music, she never felt sorry for me. She would give the little hug, but then she would be like, "Okay, this is how you got to do it. Are you going to be a bitch or what?" Like, you know, there was no, and then um, to return the favor to her is probably because again, um, I don't tell her enough either. And that's the one thing about Filipino culture that we gotta get rid of that culture. And I tell this all the time with my dad, with my brother, with my cousins, I don't know if they're tuned in, with my family. We got to break this thing about the Filipino culture of not telling each other you love them.
Right.
Um, we just don't. Like, it's never been part of Filipino culture. Like, the dads are so stern. They don't tell their sons how much they love them. And then when it's too late, it's too late. And I think that we've made it a point now, especially in our family, to kind of, we want to do that. I tell Liam all the time that I love him. Like, it's weird because he says it and it's like so nonchalant because we've ingrained it in our household.
Yeah.
We want this to be a pattern. You know, going to school. Hey, bye, Rock, love you. You know, it's whatever. We never did that in our house. We just
Right.
didn't. And then as we got older, we're like, no, we want to hear that. Like, you know, you want to hear that. And so, you know, it's definitely something that we keep in mind. And I think that our culture, as far as Filipinos go, um, should really embrace that more, especially the men, because, you know, that toxic masculinity in Philippines, and especially back home, you go home, it's
Mhm.
different, man. But now I think that we are ready for that type of a change because that's the only way you could grow. And I don't mind being an advocate for that, man. Push that narrative. Maybe I'll start doing it in the songs, you know. So
Yeah.
uh,
So
it'll be,
really
yeah.
quick, everybody. I don't mean to cut you off, Rock. I apologize. Just for the people who are watching, you guys are still welcome to ask questions to Rocky. I will go ahead and ask them as they come through. We're going to be chilling here for about 10, 15 more minutes. I got some questions, but I would like for you guys to ask him as well, because I know this is his time, but it's also your time as well to,
Yes.
hang out with our guy, and ask him anything. I'm sure he'll be willing to answer it. That's
Hey,
why we're here.
real quick, D. I'm actually house sitting, and my dog is going crazy. I need to let her out, and then I'm gonna
I'll
come
do
right
your
back.
thing. You
Yeah.
good. You good. Really quick, while we waiting for Rocky, just a reminder for anyone that has been following the 23 Days of Christmas. We are doing a secret Santa gift giveaway. If you would like to donate to the cause, we're trying to raise $1,000 by the 23rd of December to go back to the stores and buy presents so that we can deliver presents on December 25th. Please hit the link below. It's Cash App Circle Work 24/7, 365 if you would like to donate, or we have a list of items that I can drop in the comment box afterwards for you if you would like to just buy specific gifts for these families that are in need. All you have to do is give me the information. If you're interested in helping, you can drop a donation, or you can get in contact with me and I'll get you the list of gifts that we are going to be supplying to specific families that have already asked us for help. I've done this 4 years in a row. This is our fourth year, and we have continued to grow and try and do amazing things for our community. Please help us if you would like to, and we can team up and create happy homes this Christmas. So that's the secret Christmas gift giveaway. All right. What was the defining moment in your career that made you realize you could be successful in music? What's up, Tiffany Wilson? Thank you for tuning in.
Man, defining moment. What's up, Tiff? I don't even think it was. I think it had a lot to do with. Man, I'm like the most. I've been told no a bajillion times, man. I didn't learn anything from any of the wins. I learned more from the losses, and I don't even call them losses. They're more lessons. Um, there have been just. I think, and I bring this out because I never thought that this would ever be possible, but I remember doing. I was on the Ladies Night Out tour, and it features our man, people Genuine, Casey and JoJo, John B, Drew Hill, Jagged Edge, 112, Boys to Men. I've gotten a chance to share the stage with these guys. They were like larger than life. And I remember the first time doing the show, and just to be given that opportunity, like that's an amazing opportunity. Like, why me? Like,
Right.
but I figured that there was a reason for it, and it was because it was God's choice. Like he introduced me to, Steve O and Funk Daddy. Funk Daddy heard my disc, and I didn't pay. They were like, we'd like you, and it was one of those. Matter of fact, they was paying me. It was just it was wild. I thought I was on, and this will go back to like with Tiffany's question. This is about what 12 years ago. I thought I was on. I thought I was out of here. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, this is the life. I'm out of here. We did the show in Fresno, and they brought me on stage, and you can see the video. I was on YouTube. They brought me on stage, and I'm singing Jodeci songs with all of those guys. I was messing up the words because I was so like, man, what is this really happening?
Right.
I think that moment let me know that, okay, this is something, if you work towards it, this is the outcome. This is what it could be. But the hard fall of that was that it didn't get me to the next level. As a matter of fact, after that was a hard crash back down. And then you get back on the horse and you reinvent your sound, and you come back up and you go back down again. And, working with the stereotypes, like that was crazy. I remember listening to Bruno's album before it came out, and they were like, yeah, man, I heard Versace on the floor. Shout out Lyle, man. He's probably, I don't know if he's listening. They walked me into the studio, and I'm just like, what is this? Like, this is like what? August Rigo, like there's just so many moments, man. And a lot of people will be like, oh, American Idol, The Voice, because they're just such big like companies, but none of those they're not even in the top 5, 10 for me. Like it's the relationships, man. Getting so much game up until now. Like I've built some really good relationships with people in our community. Cruz, Nudie, Uncle Nudie, Pete, OGP Kirkland. I mean, there's just so many. And my guys my boy Lowe at On Fire, who runs, Renton CrossFit Gym, and the thing is you don't have to talk every day. You just know that there's a support system there. The Grammy U mentorship, everybody from it's just so, that's why there's just no way I'd be able to just name it, because I'd
Yeah,
leave somebody off, bro. I mean, there's just so many. And again, I'm just a vessel, bro. Like I'm moved to tears when it comes to it, because a lot, and I got, I was just had a conversation with one of my good friends. I don't want to put him on blast, but he was like, man, I'm going to tell you straight to your face, because you need people like that in your corner. He wasn't a yes man. He pushed me to be really like, don't, everybody will tell you you're great, but if you suck, I'm going to tell you, and you need people like that around you.
absolutely.
So, you know, it's just too many to name. I don't know. I wish I had the gene to quit, because I would have gave up a long time ago, man. I've had taken some really big losses, but and then I get a question from Tiffany that inspires me again. So it's that's
Mm,
just how it is, man. It's always been like that.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Let's see. This from Marvin Patterson. Our shops in the building. Thank you for
My boy, what's up, bro? The goat.
Does he have disdain, hard feelings toward the industry? How fickle is it?
Man, yes and no. With the whole indie artist movement, right? People that can make moves being indie. I've always been that person that I've always just wanted to be a part of the industry. My whole goal before was to get
Mm,
sign record deal. And then I get close, because my partnership with, I call it a partnership, because I want to make sure that that's what it's really supposed to be. The one thing that I can say that I'm very proud of is I own my own publishing and I own my own masters, so I get a chance to drop however I want to drop. But when you sign with a label, those rights become, they get taken away, or
mm,
you are what you negotiate. Um, the music business for me is what I hate, but I had to learn it because I wasn't, it's just, when you're a creative, and it takes so much to learn those kinds of things, that it takes away from the artistry, which is the reason why I think moving forward in a lot of these recent records, I've went out and actually worked with songwriters and creatives that are like, man, this will fit your voice, Rock. And then, you come in and you collaborate, because all of my attention has been shifted to business, promoting other artists, finding
mm,
new talent. Like, I used to run away from my age, but I just turned 40. Like, and
mm.
then I would always compare, like, I watch a lot of R&B money podcasts, and these, and I'm like, man, these guys are my age and they've accomplished so much more than me.
Yeah,
So you feel a certain way, but then you're reminded by these types of settings and people that listen to you. You're like, man, no, this is, you're right where you need to be.
absolutely.
And I think that's been something in where the industry, it, we are the industry. And this goes out to a friend of mine who runs Street Vitals. He used to say that to me, um, that we literally make that up.
Mm,
And I think, though, with the new information that I'm learning every day, I've been, I'm a student of the game. I think that being able to own your own creations is really the way to go. So working towards those kinds of things. But again, now I can't say that I've never had a major label put their sticker on my music because of
right.
what I've done with Warner Music. But there's hopefully there's more, and I think that that's where it comes down to. I'm really, really excited about this new music. We were just at the Grammy, Pacific Northwest Grammy holiday party, and I brought some homies of mine who I've been working with pretty closely,
Mm,
and they've really helped create a new sound. I'm really in collab mode. I've worked with a lot of artists that are kind of under the radar,
mm,
and there's so much talent, man. It's like, dude, I thought I loved songwriting. I thought I was a songwriter. And then
yeah,
you hear some of these other things and you're just like, wow, that's great. But that's part of it, right? That's what it's about, and really tapping into those types of things. So I just want my story to inspire somebody else to go out there and get theirs, man. That's really what it comes to.
absolutely. Well, this one's going to go right into what you were just saying. Is there a local artist you want to collaborate with that you haven't yet?
Bro, you gonna get me in trouble. I have a whole list. on my iPhone.
Tiffany's gonna get you in trouble. It wasn't me.
Man,
I
I,
won't.
I I remember talking to Tiffany like we need, and it's long away. There's so many. I really enjoy finding artists that are just kind of I so I love doing my own shows because I'm able to do what I want. I can put whoever I want on there. And
Right.
what I pride myself in is being able to one, give that kind of a platform, and two, also show how the business works. I've paid my dues and I'm still paying my dues. I don't mind that. All of these contacts that I've made, they weren't free. I
Right.
either had to invest time or I had to invest money. Like it wasn't free. Cultivating relationships. It's all about building relationships. Um, One of the things that I have been told though by somebody very dear to me is to also understand when to dial it back because you can't be so available then you don't have anything for yourself. And I think my heart makes me want to help everybody. And there's just humanly impossible for me to do, right?
Right.
So, but you shouldn't care about that. You know, I used to, I wanted to be liked. I wanted everyone to love me and like me. And when you get to a certain point in your career, none of that shit matters. You have to literally is for yourself. Even not even so forced for your family, but really for yourself. Because if you're not there 110%, you're not going to be able to do the things you need to do anyway to make this thing go. And
Right.
so I got some collabs in the works with Anthony Danza, my boy Danza, the mayor, bro.
Good guy.
Jarv D. There's some man. Oh, I'd love to do a song with Teza Talks, my girl Tasia. She is amazing, and she had been under the radar. I thought she was under the radar, and it's like um, R&B wise, I'm gonna have to holler at my girl Tiffany, man.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Like we did a show together. We did the shout out my boy JP Vinyl JP.
Yeah.
I did this music fest, so I got a chance to work with her, and she brought the house down, bro. Like killed it.
Shout out to you,
Um,
Tiffany.
yeah. So I mean, I'm doing a lot more stuff. I work very closely with my guy Jerson Zargoza, who has been so instrumental. Like that's my brother. He puts all the arrangements for me to make it live, to make it hear what you guys hear. I love when it's live band stuff because it really gives out an element. And that was another thing that being awe of certain singers is one thing. And then you'd hear them and you're like, wow, they're killing it. But then it's like one thing that I know how to make original music, like my original stuff, and how do you know when your originals are good? Well, people play it when you're not around. Like it's just part of their repertoire. And I've made it a focus and a point to make music that was like that because your friends are going to support you. Even if it sucks, they're going to support you. But I wanted it to be where, man, they're going to play it. It didn't matter. And when you start getting those kind of feedback, like real feedback, that was good. Um, who else, man? I have a whole list. Travis Thompson, I ran into him. Mac. I remember Sir Mix a lot, man. I gave him my. I was a waiter at BJ's, and he came in, and I almost got fired because I gave him my demo. Just there's so many little stories like that. Got a chance to work with the business. Shout out Henny and Jake One, the great. Again, I don't want to say too much. I got a bunch of dope ass collabs, man, that are coming out.
Real sidebar on collaborations. I did an interview with old school friend of ours, Jay Bars. He was like, "Yo, when we gonna get together and do a collab?" He wanted me to let you know. He want to be next on the list whenever you get a free moment.
Jay Bars with me?
Yeah.
Well, I love Bars, man.
Bars.
My first mixtape. This is the thing. I didn't do a very good job of making myself available at a time where I really thought I was the shit. And I don't know if it soured some people's perception of me. And I really, I could go back around and make amends all day long, but I'm not the same person that I was 10 years ago.
Right.
And you're not supposed to be. You're going to outgrow. But I think I am really the best version of myself now. And it comes through a lot of trials and tribulations. I like me. I like who I am. And I don't think that I liked who I was before, even though it looked great on paper. Um, there's just so much more sense of a purpose now. But man, bars is dope, bro. Like
He is
anyone,
dope.
I'm like a Tacoma guy. If
Yeah.
you're from Tacoma, I'm like we got this gritty blue collar, no bullshit, and I fuck with some Seattle cats. I'm just not out there like that. But
Right, right, right.
I'm Tacoma through and through. I've reconnected with just my community. I'm hip to it, man. I get what's going on.
Mhm.
I like it. I want to be part of that wave. So I just think a lot of this has to do with timing and making sure that it's the right branding. I used to be so careful about branding. Yeah, you still got to be a good person, and that's
Yep.
what I've really worked on. And I think I like I like the direction that I'm headed towards, man.
That's cool. That's cool. Does who smoke cigars, Marvin? This is the last one I'm taking. You do.
Do I smoke cigars?
I'm thinking he's asking you if you smoke cigars.
I did, but if my mom's watching, please don't get mad at me. I just do them for on occasion. My girl bought me a humidifier, and I like a good scotch. I've moved to tequila because I'm trying to be. I don't know if there's necessarily a healthier alternative, but
Right.
because I got my ass back in the gym. I was at my heaviest point a couple of months ago, just to kind of be respectable again. But I think it had to do with this year has been a very difficult year. I'm not going to even lie. I'm in therapy. Mental health is key.
Yeah.
I'm starting to realize a lot of things that I was triggered by before,
Mhm.
which is probably the reason why I felt a certain way about relationships. I felt a certain way, and when you try to make amends for those, you just can't. You just have to accept it, um, and um, really, what's been really therapeutic is just my ability to stay in the classrooms and work with these students. They give me it's like a completely different stage. And they'll find me on Spotify, and all of a sudden they don't do the homework no more because they don't look at me as the teacher, and I'm like, ah. Um, but I think that has been very therapeutic for me. You know, I just I know that there's another level, and there's levels to everything, and I've really tapped in with a lot of people who are committed to getting at least all I want, man, D, is I just want an opportunity. That's it.
That's it.
I've never asked for anything. I will never take any handouts. I've never taken any handouts except for my parents, they've really helped shape me into this strong-minded person. Like I feel strong when it comes to certain things, but I just want an opportunity, and I think I know I'm going to get that, and when I get that, I'll be ready. I stay ready. I say that all the time. I know it sounds cliche, but
Mhm.
I really work every day. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about the next move. What are we going to do next? How can I stay on top? Rehearsals are important. Making sure that your live shows are good. That's where the money is, man. Like that's why I never got weirded out by, Rock's numbers aren't big enough. I
Mhm.
3,000 followers or whatever. And, he's 20,000 streams. Yeah. But I know friends of mine who have 100K followers, they can't sell 20 tickets to their show. Like there's um, so there's
Right.
all kinds of different ways to look at it, and not knocking it. It's just the cold. I'm literally a go out there and let me get you a ticket. And I'm learning that it's not supposed to be like that. I should just be concentrating on the art. You know,
Yes. Yes.
that should sell itself. But I'm such a I'm very, very particular about how these events, my shows got to be, they're not shows, they're experiences. When you come to a headlining show of mine, I want you to have an experience. I want it to be enjoyable so that you come back. And I've been able to retain a lot of the supporters, which is the reason why I'm able to stay afloat. Like they really go fuck with it. They buy it, they stay, you buy the merch. I mean, it's wonderful.
Absolutely. I
And it's
support
been
you all day.
and that's I treat everyone very important because they're an integral part of what I'm trying to do. Like if I had no audience, I wouldn't be able to be where I'm at right now.
Absolutely. And Tiffany had one more question that she wanted to ask, and then I have a question for you after that.
Oh,
But hers is up. Are the artists that had the greatest influence on your sound? I know we had talked about this earlier, but go ahead and answer it for her.
whew, so many. I actually I've always been a great imitator. Whoever was hot, I wanted to sound like them, and I realized that's not like who is Rocky Sandoval. And I think a lot of it comes from old school R&B. I hope that that comes back. I know that the women in R&B are killing it right now. They're hanging on to these components. Um, I got some R&B records that they stay true to who I am that are coming out. But there's this new sound that we've created a record with. Shout out to my guy, Nerdy Boy, Astro. We got these incredible records. I don't want to coin it yet because they're like, can we just keep everything in wraps? We want it to be just another factor. But as far as like influences go, Donny Hathaway, Marvin Gaye, and then, obviously Jodeci. I wasn't even allowed to listen to Jodeci when I was younger because it was like, my mom was like, here, listen to Boyz II Men, it was
Yeah.
more clean cut. And again, 112, Usher is hands down. I wanted to sing like Usher, dance like Usher, be like Usher. I used to kill myself in the gym trying to try to get a six pack like Usher. Like I wanted to be him, and that's impossible because I love chicken wings and I'm gonna have a beer,
Yeah.
Tank, the Underdogs when they came. I mean, there's so many, bro. Like Neo. I remember when Neo wrote that album that came out, the In My Head I'm like, man, he took my notebook. He took my notebook. Bruno Mars. I love what SZA's doing now. Jasmine Sullivan. I mean, there's just so many, bro.
Right, for sure.
So many musical influences. Even some of the artists that I've like the local artists out here. And I love our region. We got to people don't know what kind of a gold mine is out here, and I don't know if we'll ever get there because of for whatever reason, but it's out here. And every city will have their hub. We have our hub also, and I'm very proud of it. Like I love saying I'm from Tacoma, Seattle. I think next you're going to start seeing a shift in kind of the direction because I've really put some people in place that are making sure that the business is right. Because we're in the music business, man. We're in the business of selling emotion, if that makes any sense. And I think for the longest time, now we want to make sure that we're also reaping what we sow into certain things. So, but yeah, so many influences.
I got a question for you real quick. And this is just going back to just thinking about the year, even past 2 years. And in 2024, new artist of the year, who do you think is someone that we need to be paying attention to that might not get enough, hasn't got enough acknowledgement, or their numbers aren't up, or they haven't done a lot of shows? Who is somebody you think we need to be watching out for in 2024?
We talking about out here?
Yeah.
Man. Well, I think, and this is just my personal favorites. Shout out Louis. I love Lil Rip is what I know him. He's, doing his thing. There's this kid, man, and he's not even a kid because he's in his 30s, but there's this guy, his name is Astro. It's filthy, super filthy. I think Tasia is going to be the biggest thing out of here. And I don't know if I'm obligated to say these things because it's so hush hush. I'm led into a lot of rooms.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want to mess up anyone's plans, but there's a couple of artists that I'm going to be working with. They're younger artists. Got a chance to see them at the Alma show. My girl Mackenzie Proctor, she's 13. She's going to be filthy. Like once I'm able to put my spin on what we were doing. There's a kid named Counting Up Lou. He's one thing about like certain platforms is they give an opportunity for these artists to really make a name for themselves. And I think one of the missing components and I tell this to all the artists, it's your work ethic. Like everybody want to be a star, but don't nobody want to put the work in. And it's crazy that people are like, Rock, you're such a worker. You work hard, you grind. And I'm reminded by some of my mentors who are just, that I'm not like, I'm not even a tenth of that stuff. But it's like all the other components. I'm a family man. I'm a teacher. I got all these other things, right? But there's so much, there's levels to it. And hopefully I can get to that, because if they haven't heard, if your song isn't spun a million times, they don't know you yet. And I haven't got there yet. And so 2024, I'm gonna say myself, man.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna say myself. But again, I'm really hip to like what's going on with our community, with great, there's just a lot of there's new energy out here. December 28th, I'll be live with my boys Danza and Jarv D. Danza is the blueprint of the indie artist. Like, he is amazing at all of the moves that he makes, and he's a good dude. I love working with high character individuals, and I know that that's not always possible because, people are artists and we're cut from, what it is, man.
Yeah.
But I like working with high character people. That's really big for me.
December 28th. Let them know where it's going to be at, because I will be in the house, you guys. Let's go.
Man.
Let's go.
The list of the who's, and there's a lot of lists that are coming out from our region, and it's, causing quite a stir, and all of these things. And, I used to take those so personally, like, but you realize that, man, not everyone is going to like you, no matter how dope you are. And then there's people that like you, that they're not going to show, so they're not going to tell you. It's just, you can't look at those small things, and people get so, all up in arms about that kind of stuff, man. Just go out and do that shit. Like, don't get on social media and talk about it. Just go do it. Because I used to be like that. The old Facebook posts that come up 10 years ago, and I'm just like, I can't believe I said that, man. Like, it's cringeworthy. But Facebook does a really good job of reminding you of a lot of the immature things that I've said or done when it comes to music. And I'll be the first to admit that I'm okay with that, man. I'm okay with saying I said that, because that was 10 years ago, But I think right now, like, I'm in a way better space. I feel great. I got a strong family, great support system. I'm just excited, man.
Absolutely.
Just excited, bro.
Well, I'm excited for you, bro.
Thank you.
And you know what? I got to do this real quick. I'm doing a circle talk.
I still rock your t-shirt, man.
You do?
Man, I know my girl Nadine's watching. She tried to shrink my shirt one time. It was this one.
Yeah.
I rock that shirt, bro. Like, I love, like, what's going on. If you have a brand or something like that, I wear local brands. Like,
I'm the same way, bro. I rock them all. I try to support each and every person that I can. Anyone that supports me, I support them. That's how we get down. You know what I'm saying? That's how we lift each other up. You feel me?
Community, yes.
So I'm doing this thing called the Circle Talk Awards this year. My first annual one on the 24th of December. I'm going to be giving out awards to amazing people that have done amazing things in our community and the community surrounding in 2023. In your opinion, who do you think deserves the DJ of the Year award?
DJ of the Year. Man, God, I don't have like an actual DJ because I've worked with so many, but I'm just going to do a list of people that I work with that have these great repertoires, because I can't just choose one, because these guys will text me and call me. And DJ Chemist, DJ Don G, DJ K-Fi, Robbie, DJ Rob. I'm just going off of the people that, DJ Rice. There's a bunch, bro. Like, everybody that play, DJ Nasty Ness, all of the, there's too many, man. Too many.
Well, I appreciate you, Rock, for at least, giving a kudos to all those out there, those DJs that are doing amazing work in our community. This is my last question for you, bro. And then, we're going to go ahead.
I enjoyed this, man. Like, I feel like, man, I could talk to you for. I mean, we boys, but it's
We
just this
chop it
was.
up.
I made this a priority. I know I missed the last one. I had something going on, but I wanted to really give some time to this. But
No.
anytime, man. Like anytime
No.
you want to just rap, yeah. Let's just
There was so many other things that I want to talk about, which is perfectly fine. We will do it again, obviously, but
yeah.
I'm just thankful that you got to come in and spend some time with me and answer some questions for your fans and friends and family that have supported you and been down for you since day one. I mean, we got a lot of people still viewing and chiming in. Shout out to all you guys that are still
Thank
here.
y'all, man. Thank you guys so
Appreciate
much
you for being here. Obviously, make sure you guys December 28th go out to the show. Make sure you guys support Rocky and everything that he's doing. Watch out for 2024. He has got a lot of new stuff that he's working on, material. I don't know if you want to touch on it yet, but if you do, go ahead and say it.
Man, I completely spaced. Wax the producer, like
VZ. He gonna be mad at you,
man. Wax VZ. I'm at the Watson Event Center on New Year's Eve. They're bringing R&B singer superstar T-Rel to the building, and the bill is just stacked with incredible vocalists. Man, Wax is on there. Dejanar, just off of the top of my head, JD Smooth, KCMO, Key Calhoun, myself, Caleb Nash. It's gonna be that. Nash is nasty, man. He's so good. He's so good. So that's another great show. Those are the two things that I have coming up. The 28th, that's a Thursday. Then y'all can regroup, come out and rock with me Sunday night. It's $40 a ticket. It's upscale R&B, like for real R&B. And so I definitely wanted to make sure that I got that off there. And then I got dope shit coming out. New music is coming. Just had to make sure the business was right. And when you're working with so many other entities to make sure that the presentation comes out the way that you envision it in your head, because you work so hard on the product, you just want to make sure it comes out right. And so just they know. And I think that that's what I hope that my supporters and my fans can come to get. I want the standard to be high of what you expect from me. I want that. I relish in that. I need that so that it keeps me going and it keeps me motivated. Like I'm gonna give you dope shit. Like it'll be dope. Even the live show, when you come to a show, when you spend money to come to a show, that's the ultimate form of praise to me. Like I have to give it to you. Like you deserve it. Like you're spending your hard-earned money to come out to a show. And I did that by watching some of the greats and gotten a chance to rock with them. And I take that very, very serious.
Absolutely. So this is my last question, and then we're gonna close up shop, guys.
Cool.
Thank you all for being here again.
Yes, thank you, man.
Make sure you guys go like, subscribe, go to the YouTube channel. Make sure you guys follow us. Make sure you follow Rocky, all music on all platforms, right?
Yes.
All platforms.
Yes.
Make sure you guys go support. But what do you want people to remember about you when you leave this earth, brother?
I was the son of Loretta and Leo Sandoval. I put my family over everything, but I didn't show it because I put my music over everything. The music like lives inside of me. It's weird, and I don't know how else to put it, but I think the underdog mentality is something that it's worked for me, but I have to shake that because I'm not an underdog anymore. Like it's achievable if you put your head down and you put the work in. I never gave up. Like I just didn't. And I don't know if I'll ever have something that will make me give up. I'm kind of low key going blind in my left eye. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Sometimes there's certain ailments. Like if I lost my voice, I always thought, well, if I lost my voice, well, then I'd still be writing. Right. If my hands got cut off, I'd probably still be, I would always just do whatever I could to stay in the mix. But I think what's important, my legacy would be that I gave 110% in everything that I did. And I did it the right way. Like I There was no shortcuts. I didn't step on people. I didn't shit on nobody to get to the next level. And I think the most important thing to me is just how my family and friends remember me. Like if they're like, man, that, I have a special relationship and I got 1,000,092 family members, bro. I know all of them. I've partied with all of them. I've sat down with all of them, from the little kids that were, when they were coming up, they were like 6, 7. Now they're like 18 and they're having a beer with me. Like, I'm very family driven, and sometimes it can be draining. Christmas is stressful, man. Got a big ass family. You gotta, but I think that's what it comes down to. Like the last name means everything to me, man. Like I want that to be, and I want, I want to open up doors and opportunities for other people. That's what I want. I want to bring the industry here to Tacoma, Washington. It would take something amazing, just undeniable for me to up and leave my community. Like, but I want to bring it out here because I'm inspired by my community, man. And I hope that, they can see that. And that's what I'm remembered by, that he was 110% like all about the shit. He was with the shits. And so.
Absolutely, man. Well, Rock, you already know.
Bro. I love you, man. I got.
How I feel about you, man. Like,
man,
a guy for life. I mean, there's just something about you, man. Like, I just, like, you got me getting emotional.
Nice.
Just listening to you, and I'm just very appreciative that we still connect even through all the ups and downs that we've been through.
Yes,
I'm glad that we're still here and we're still pushing, and we have to get together and
we do.
Just get together.
Not just on here, because you support, and everybody that's watching and listening, please. This is the right podcast. These kinds of his platform comes from the correct place. And I like rocking with this kind of stuff, because when these things take off, I could be like, man, and I was from the beginning, the ground, the level up. That's why I treat my supporters so, they're so important to me, because we all it's us, man. And so for those of you guys out there, please make sure you guys subscribe to my guy Dave.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, bro.
Don't let him fool you. This dude is a monster on the vocals, man. I know he's in this platform now, but nah, he, like I said, man, I was intimidated when I first heard him. I'm like, man, those are some runs. And man,
back in the day, I used to go hard though.
It's still there. That's who you are, man. And so
appreciate you, Rock, man. Always know I got your back. Anything you do, man.
Super love, man. I appreciate it. I can't wait to be able to share this with everybody else. But make sure that you enjoy yourself this holiday season.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you guys so much for viewing. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. We'll be here with Alicia Michelle at 8 o'clock tomorrow, same time, same back channel. Be hanging out with me and Alicia Michelle. Thank you so much, Rock. You're amazing, brother. I love you.
I love you, man. Yes.
Love you. Thank y'all for viewing. We will see you guys tomorrow.
Happy holidays, everybody. Thank y'all. Peace.
Take care.
In the ups and downs, you always been around. Is it gonna end like this?